In progress.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today we're gonna continue chapter 3. We're gonna finish chapter 3 and you're gonna do the assignment, the second assignment, and due the end of this week. Any question before I start? I continue, share the screen. Last class we talk about the hedging strategy, and we talk about basis risk. So today we can continue. First, choice of contract. When you decide to buy or sell futures contract, one key factor affecting the basis risk is how you're gonna choose, how you're gonna make a choice on the future contract for hedging. There are two components. One is the choice of the assets. The underlying assets of the future contracts may not be exactly the same as the assets you are trying to hedge. Okay, so you should try to choose the contract whose future price is most highly correlated with the asset price. Later on, we're going to talk about cross hedging, which is the talk about this case. And the other choice component is the choice of delivery months. So when you're gonna which month you should choose to deliver the assets, you should choose a delivery month that is as close as possible to but later than the end of the life of the hedge. So the hedge should be before you deliver, right? Before you decide to deliver, and so you can make a decision on the hedging, right? So example 5. In the CME groups of corn futures contract, the following delivery months are available. So you can select the March, May, July, September, and December. So not every month, but you have options. State the contract that should be used for hedging when the expiration of the hedge is in June. Okay, if your hedging, if the life of the hedge is in June, the delivery month should be later but close, right? Later but close the end of the life, later but close to the end of the life of the hedge. So which month should be delivery month you're gonna choose? Later but close. Which one? Is that July? Later, not May, right? May is before, but July is later. So the delivery month should be July. For June, if the expiration of the hedge is in June, then the delivery month should be July. Can you tell me what's the delivery month for if the expiration of the hedge is in July? That's question to you. Anybody can answer that question? Yeah? Yes, please unmute yourself. Just tell me the answer. This is a talk about 3 case. If the expiration of the hedge is in July, the delivery month should be in
September.
That's correct. Good. So this is later than the end of the life, but close. What about last case?
March.
Yeah, that's correct. March. Okay. So we should select the contract July, September, and March. Okay. So we should choose the future contract that has a delivery month as close as possible, but later than the month, the end of the life of the hedge. All right, so this is about choice of contract. Next, let's talk about the cross hedging. Cross hedging, first you need to know what is cross hedging. Cross-hedging occur when the assets underlying the futures contract and the assets, so two assets, assets A and assets B. So basically you have a, last class we talked about the two positions, right? The time T1, T2, or 1 or 2, or time 1, time 2. So you end up the future contract here, futures contract, and you have a position on the assets here. So this is the assets underlying the contract. Let's call this is assets A. So assets A here, and the asset whose price being hedged, this is B. So assets B here. So assets A and assets B could be exactly the same, could be not the same. Okay, if they are not the same, which is different, then we call this is cross-hedging. Okay, cross-hedging. For example, an airline that is concerned about the future price of jet fuel. Okay, this is assets A. This is assets B, which is assets being to hedged, the price being to hedged. Since jet fuel futures are not actively traded, it might choose to use heating oil future contract. So this is assets B. This is assets B. And this is assets A, which is underlying assets of the contract, futures contract. Okay, so they are very close, but they are not the same. So this is called a cross-hedging. And then we're going to think about hedge ratio, right? If they are exactly the same, hedge ratio equal 1. If they are exactly the same, then hedge ratio equal 1. If they are not the same, hedge ratio is the ratio of the size of the position being taken in the future contract to the size of the exposure. So basically the size of assets A, right? Assets A is for underlying assets, and the size of assets B, which is the assets to be hedged. Okay. When cross-hedge is used, the hedger should find the optimal hedge ratio that minimizes. So what would be the optimal hedge ratio? The optimal hedge ratio should be minimize the variance of the value of the hedge position. So which is reduced the risk is the minimum, okay, minimum risk. Okay, the slides showing here is not complete. So let me put it optimal. So next we talk about the optimal hedge ratio. Hedge ratio, we know how to do it. But what would be the optimal hedge ratio? So we use H star to represent optimal hedge ratio. It's the slope of the best fit line obtained when the change in spot price are regressed against the change in future price. So basically we compare to the two price, future price and spot price. So optimal hedge ratio calculated by the correlation, or say the coefficient of correlation between the change in spot price and the change in the future price. So times what? Times standard deviation for the spot price change and standard deviation for the future price change. Okay, so this is the formula to calculate optimal hedge ratio. I think you should learn this from other class. Okay, very similar. You probably learned from the investment class. Okay, so this is about optimal hedge ratio. You don't need to know how to calculate standard deviation of the change in the spot price, the standard deviation of the change in the future price. Actually, if we have time, we can do that, right? As long as we know the spot price, future price, we calculate the change, every day by day, and then we calculate the standard deviation. As long as our data in big enough, we can get the standard deviation of the change in spot price and the change in the future price. But in our class, most of the case we are given the standard deviation of the change in spot price of the change in the future price. Okay, so next, talk about how many contracts, right? Think about hedge ratio, and then how many number of contracts you should take to hedge the position, to the risk of the position. Okay, so let's see. Okay, the formula optimal number of contract calculated by optimal hedge ratio. So this one we can calculate, right? This is H star. From the previous slides, we can calculate H star, and the times size of the position being hedged over size, contract size per contract size. So contract size per contract size of the position being hedged. Let's see example. Airline will purchase 2 million gallons of jet fuel in 1 month. What is this? Is this the size? If you go back, is this the size of the position being hedged? Yes. The purchase 2 million gallons of jet fuel in 1 month, and the hedges use the heating oil futures. So this is the size of the position being hedged. And the future contract is a heating oil contract. Each heating oil contract traded on $42,000 gallons of heating oil. What is this? Anybody can tell me? The contract with the amount of the assets? What do we call this?
This would be the contract size per contract.
That's correct. Contract size. Thank you. Yes, contract size. This is the last chapter. We talk about contract size, right? The amount of assets being underlying assets, right? Underlying assets, contract size. And per contract, yes, here is per contract, each contract. From historical data, we get the standard deviation of the change. Standard deviation of the change of future contract is 0.0313, and the standard deviation of the change in the spot price is 0.026263, and the coefficient of correlation you see very high, right? 0.928. So correlation, if the two assets the same, correlation equal 1, right? If it's 0.928, which is very close, assets very close, very similar. So that's correlation. Ask you what is the optimal number of contracts. Okay. To calculate the optimal number of contracts, we need to calculate optimal hedge ratio first, right? Because in the formula, we need to know optimal hedge ratio. So to calculate optimal hedge ratio, that's easy. We have a formula here, calculated by correlation times the standard deviation. Make sure which one divided by which one, okay? Standard deviation of spot price over standard deviation of future price. So correlation times standard deviation of spot price over standard deviation of forward price. So 0.928 times standard deviation of spot price 0.0263 over 0.0313. Can you calculate the optimal hedge ratio for me, please?
37.14.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's correct. So you might get 0.78, right? You can keep a more decimal, but I think 2 decimal, that's enough, okay? The optimal number for, so in your assignment, please strictly follow what I'm doing, okay? Please, I know you have different way, but I hope you can do this way and the other, okay? The other way. So optimal number of contract calculated by the optimal Hertz ratio times the size of the position being hedged over contract size per contract. Okay, so 0.78, 0.78 times the size of the position being hurt is 2 million. So you need to convert that to the dollar, 2 million. Over contract size is 42,000. So how many number of contracts would be the optimal?
$37.13.
Yeah, so 37, you might just keep 37. Okay, just keep 37. Optimal number of contracts. Or if you keep a decimal, that's fine. Either fine. Okay, both fine. Any question? I think that's pretty straightforward, right? It's not that hard. So this chapter is quite simple. So example 7, I would like to give you 5 minutes. You try it, and I'm gonna ask a student to tell me what did you do? Okay. So please try. Please start now. And 5 minutes. Okay. Did most students finished? How about I'm gonna ask Logan? Can you do question 1? Logan? Is Logan in the class? Oh, we have a student leave notes in the chat. Logan not here. Oh, by the way, please change your name. Use your full name, okay? Each class I'm gonna check your attendance over Zoom, so you need to use How about Owen?
Yes, Professor. I got 0.6 as the optimal hedge ratio.
Okay, so let me see, 0.6. Okay, so let's do it together. You tell me what number you use for hedge ratio.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the standard deviation of the spot price was 1.2.
1.1.
And the standard deviation of the futures price was 1.4.
1.4.
And the correlation value was 0.7.
0.7. So that you're gonna get is 0.6. That's correct. Good. Yes. Good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Question 2. This is a little bit tricky question. Should the beef producer take a long or short future position? So you need to go back to the question to read to to understand the producer. They try to buy or try to sell. If it's buy, gonna long position. If sell, it's gonna be short position. Okay. Let's see. A beef producer is committed to purchase. So answer should be what? Long. Okay. Long position. Why? Because the producer try to purchase 200,000 pounds of live cattle on November 15. The producer wants to use the December live cattle future contract to hedge its risk. Each contract is for delivery of 40,000 pounds of cattle. So question 3, what's the optimal number of future contracts? So optimal number of future contracts calculated by the optimal hedge ratio times the size of the position being hedged, right? Over the contract size. Let me ask a student. What's the size of the position being hedged? What is the size, contract size? I saw Logan. Logan, are you there? And also your username is not with first name and last name. So please change. Kevin.
Yep.
Yeah, could you tell me what is the size of the position being hedged and the contract size?
Yep. So I had 0.6 times 200,000 over 40,000.
Yes.
And that gave me 3 for the optimal number of contracts.
Optimal number of contract. Hold on 1 second. What's the size of the position being hedged? You find
200,000.
Yeah, this is the size. Okay, yes, 200,000. And what is the contract size?
40,000.
Yeah, 40,000. That's correct. Good. And the optimal hedge ratio is 0.6. So the calculation is like this. Your answer is
3.
yes. Okay, the optimal number of contract is 3. That's for question 3. Good. Thank you. Okay, so we basically finished all the material in chapter 3. This chapter is quite simple and most require your understanding, okay, about the hedging, about the hedging strategy. You use the futures and forwards. So last summary, hedging is a way to reduce risk. A short hedge is appropriate if you expect to sell in the future. A long hedge is appropriate if you plan to buy the assets. And the basis risk arises from a hedge's uncertainty about what the basis will be at the maturity of the hedge. Remember, when we talk about basis risk, you need to know for long hedge or short hedge, when basis risk increase, decrease, and the company's position should be strengthened, should be worsened, or should be improved. You should know that, okay? That's very important issue in this chapter. The optimal hedge ratio is the slope of the best fit line obtained when the change in spot price regressed against the change in the futures price. So that's all for this chapter. I think in you rather than the calculation, you should spend more time on the concept multiple choice question. For example, let me see. For example, who gonna I think that's chapter 2. For example, let me see. The basis, the basis is defined as spot minus futures. Let me give you an example for multiple choice question. Here is the question. The basis is defined as the spot minus futures. Listen carefully, okay? A trader is hedging the sale, okay? Listen carefully. A trader is hedging the sale of an asset with the short future position. The basis increase unexpectedly. Which of the following is true? A, the hedger's position worsen. B, the hedger's position stay the same. C, the hedger's position improves. D, the hedger's position sometimes worsen and sometimes improves. Which one is the answer?
Would it worsen?
It's worsen. So let me go back to what we discussed last class. Is talk about short hedge, right? When the hedger do short hedge, basis increase, the position is what? Is what? Tell me. Is that worsen or improves?
Improve.
Yes, improves. Okay, so you can also think about why. Because you do short hedge means in the future you're gonna sell something and you're gonna receive amount, right? Price. So when B2 increase, the price gonna increase for each case. Okay, for any case, for short and long, so both correct. Which is the basis increase, the price will increase. So the price increase for short hedger, they gonna receive more, right? So receive more. Okay, the position improves. Okay, so answer is C. Oh, okay. So for this multiple choice question, I can change easily, right? I can say this is long hedge, and if the basis decrease, the hedge position will increase, will improve or worsen. You should be able to do. Okay, so I just tell you example. And this chapter, you need to know what we just discussed. Which contract should you choose? Which delivery month should you choose? For example, another multiple choice question I give you: future contracts. Listen carefully. Futures contracts trade with every month as the delivery month. A company is hedging the purchase of the underlying assets on June 15. Which futures contract should it use? A, July contract, B, June contract, C, the August contract, D, the May contract. Answer is, did you understand the question?
Is it the August contract?
The first you need to know when is the end of the life of the hedge is June 15. I said June 15. June 15. Which future contract should it use? Because future contract delivery months can be every month in a year. So let me show you a whiteboard. Okay, my question is, the end of the life of the hedge is June 15. Which one is the delivery month you should choose? The contract can be delivered in every month. Which month? We just talked about that, right?
Is it July?
Yeah, July. Okay, close to but later than, which is July. Okay, so answer is A, July contract. July contract. And also you need to understand optimal hedge ratio is about the, what's the definition about hedge ratio? So we talk about hedge ratio, basically it's the regression. It's the slope of the regression. The regression basically is the delta S regress on delta F. So you need to understand the relationship, how we get that H star. It's the slope of the best fit line, which is you do regression, regress delta S on delta F. So that's optimal ratio. And also about the hedging against or in favor of hedging. So that's this issue. We can have question like this. So let me give you one more example. Which of the following is true? Okay, listen carefully. Hedging can always be done more easily by a company's shareholders than by the company itself. This is the argument by what? By the against, right? B, if all companies in the industry do not hedge, a company in the industry can reduce its risk by hedging. C, if all companies in an industry do not hedge, a company is liable to increase its risk by hedging. D, if all companies in the industry hedge, a company in the industry can sometimes reduce its risk by choosing not to hedge. So this is basically asking you, if all companies do not hedge, then a company hedge would be what? Increase risk or decrease risk? If you go back to the slides, I think that's the slides we discussed earlier. That's about it may increase risk. It may increase risk to hedge when competitors do not. So answer is what? C. if all companies in an industry do not hedge, a company is liable increase its risk by hedging. Okay, so that's the question, multiple choice question related to this issue. Okay, so that's all I would like to talk about in chapter 3. You really need to read the book, okay? Read the book to get the more background information rather than the information from the slides, okay? And understand, you don't need to memorize, understand the material and do the assignment. I think assignment very easily to do because they're all similar to examples in the slides. I hope this time everybody can follow, okay? Follow the examples, follow the lecture I did in class, okay? So that's all for today. If no question, we're gonna see you Monday, but make sure finish assignment by the due date, okay? After midnight of Sunday, the assignment will not be available. No late work will be accepted. Again, we don't have class on Fridays, so you have a lot of time to do to work on the assignments. Okay. Any question? Any question?
No questions, Professor.
Okay, that's great. So let me know if you have any question. You can just email me and we can discuss over Zoom. Okay.
Thank you.
So you have a good day. Bye. Have a good day and see you Monday.
Have a great weekend, Professor.
You too. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.